Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Viviana and I am now 6 weeks post-show, and I have been sharing all about my show prep and now my post-show. But today I'm also going to be sharing with you all about coaching, the programs that I've done throughout the year and why I do that. Okay, so I thought today was Tuesday and I was running to try to get my training and my cardio done, and I'm about to get ready to check in and put on my suit, but it's not Tuesday. I am just like, I guess because I work on Sunday that it just kind of threw my week off, but it is not a check-in day. So we are getting ready to take our family picture. We try to do this every year. I did this when my kids were growing up and we had themes and just family pictures for the holidays. But now we have our grandbaby, so it's gonna be nice to compare last year's picture to this year. She was a newborn. So yeah, soon my kids will be here. My daughter Alejandra is doing her hair. But then my grandbaby will be here and we'll get to take our picture. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday and it is a check-in day for me. So this is going to be my 6-week post-show check-in. And so last week the changes were we added 5 grams of fat and to my macros, and that is going really well. Minimal changes as far as the weight fluctuating. It looks like everything has been the same weight all week and last week, the previous weeks. So today I actually, well, yesterday night, I got my cycle again, which today that I'm checking in is bumping up my weight. But again, if you keep data, keep, recording your weights, your measurements and things like that, you are going to be familiar with your weight, your average weight, your measurements, everything, and how it changes when you have your menstrual cycle. And so what happens is that you don't freak out because you already have an idea of when the scale goes up and why, and if there's any inflammation and things like that, and you measure yourselves and maybe 0.5 or something goes up, you are not kind of getting upset because you're working, you're doing your things, you're following your macros, and then your weight goes up. So remember that a lot of the times it is, due to the cycle, and we retain water, and then it also depends on your training, your meals, your sodium, things that you've had. So my weight did go up today, but again, I just got my menstrual cycle, and that's okay. I'm gonna take my pictures, my videos, and then I will upload all that for my coach, and then I will share my feedback with you.
Hey, Viviana. Sorry for getting back to you so late. Sorry to hear about the unexpected trip. Obviously, the goal right now is stability. You got your cycle yesterday, which is a good sign. I mean, that to me is, a healthy menstrual cycle is a great place to be. All right, let's talk about here. Your weight's been steady at 123 all week. That's great. Yeah, I wouldn't make any adjustments right now. The average weight is up a little bit, obviously cycle related. So we'll just hold here, not in a rush. Want to make sure that I'm keeping you really happy and really stable.
Okay, so last video, I said that I was going to talk about coaching and programs and the different things I did throughout the year and why, right? So this week I gave you my update. There were no changes. And you got to hear my coach's feedback, and then I showed you my physique. Now, as far as my post-show, 6-week post-show, I am now just starting to notice like the difference. Previously, I thought, not really, but it is now, like I feel my clothes a little tighter. I had not, but now I do. And the other thing is that in the gym, right, I'm starting to feel stronger, and I'm starting to feel better, lift better. Not that I didn't, it's just because the calories are coming up, the cardio went down, and so obviously the energy went up. So it's great. Now, the other thing that happened was that I got my cycle again. And so I've previously mentioned that I never lost my cycle during my competition prep, but now it seems like I'm getting it often. And so my weight did go up due to my menstrual cycle. But I feel that everything is going well as far as with my prep and how things are going post-show. I don't have any issues at the moment with whether it is because of my weight going up or, like I mentioned, my clothes fitting tighter. I've never had an issue in the past 12 years from the beginning of my prep with, eating disorders or anything like that. Like, I'm not going to lie that of course, if you're a physique competitor, you're going to see these changes, and that is something that is in your mind always. But it does not affect my daily living, the way that I think about myself or anything like that. I always try to remember that I am doing the things that I'm doing with a purpose. And so just, switching that mindset from getting leaner to getting stronger is very helpful. So no changes this week. Everything's going well. And hopefully the next update video, it goes well too, but it's going to be Christmas. So like I mentioned previously, I'm going to try to share as much as I can during the holidays, or Christmas mainly, because that's when all the eating happens, right? And I'll be in Laredo, my hometown, with family, and so I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of that, and hopefully everything goes well, and I will try to share as much as I can so that you can kind of have an idea what I do whenever I am with the family and having celebrations and holidays. So this video is also going to have, like I mentioned, about coaching. If you've been following me, you know that I am with Pro Physique, and Paul is my coach. Now, you also have seen throughout the year that I have, different programs, different people that I show that, on social media or on here. And, a lot of the times I get questions. What is this about? So are you coaching with this person or what's going on? So every chance I get to learn more, I will. So I don't know how many years since I started with social media, which, to be honest with you, that's kind of like what opened my eyes to a lot of things. I used to be prepping with a meal plan and very strict diet following a meal plan, right? And then I learned about flexible dieting years ago with Lane Norton and Team BioLane. And so that's kind of where I started learning all these things and then got interested in nutrition. And obviously I was already competing. Back in the day was different, like I said, meal plans, and I was one of those that was doing the asparagus and the chicken and broccoli and that kind of stuff. So I went from that to flexible dieting, and those are things that I learned through the years, right? So every year I get an opportunity to see different things, and well, not necessarily every year, but there's always opportunities once you get involved in whatever it is that you like, right? You start focusing on that. And so that's exactly what I've been doing for the past 12 years, right? Trying to learn more about the things that I'm passionate about and that I enjoy. And so obviously one of them is competing. And so, like I mentioned, I started flexible dieting. I started learning about nutrition. So then, since COVID, right, Lane Norton started opening courses for science and nutrition, and that kind of like started. And then the Team BioLane, so there was like coaching and programs for training with nutrition. And so if you're not familiar with Lane Norton or the people that I mentioned, these are people that are qualified. They either have a PhD, they're dietitians, they're very well-known coaches. And so that's why it caught my attention, right, when I started with all this. And so I not only enjoy the things that I'm passionate about, because things change over the years. I was passionate about dancing, and that was like my thing. And then when I transitioned to bodybuilding, then that was my thing, right? That's my I guess, extracurricular activity at that time. And then now this, right, since almost 12 years. And so because of it, I started to get more interested in learning more about the whole sport. And I started taking courses, everything that has to do with nutrition and training and things like that. When I was open to, doing all these things in social media, I also saw other people and met in the industry while competing and, going through these seminars and going through these courses. I got to meet other people that are passionate about the same thing. And that's how you start kind of learning more about the sport, right? And so that's how it all started. Now, I've been taking courses for nutrition. And then Lane Norton also has the monthly research reviews, reps. And so that is another thing that I'm part of. And that's because I'm passionate about nutrition and training. So I get these reviews where I don't have to go through the whole research. Lane Norton does that. And then if you're a member, you get to, see what the different topics are about the research, whether it is nutrition or training, and then read about them. And so that's one of the things that I've done and I've been doing, that I'm a member for reps. And then, and I'm looking down so I won't forget anything. The other thing I have is like the courses, the app, which is the Carbon Coach app, and then books and things like that, right, from Leighton Norton. And then I got to meet him as well. I went to a seminar. So that's one person, or one of the I'd say things that I've added, even though I have a competition coach and I'm part of a team, right? So again, this is for me personally because I want to learn more about the sport and nutrition and training. So that's one. And then earlier in the year, I was interested about the Arnold Pump Club. Now, some of you probably have heard he has a newsletter. He sends emails every day and every Friday, different nutrition tips and things like that. And sometimes he'll attach things like that. So that caught my attention as well because it's an app for training. And he had all these things about, wellness, and not necessarily for competitors, but mainly it was like for wellness. And so like overall health. So his app and his whole pump club, even though he's obviously the bodybuilder that we all know, his focus was just kind of bringing a community to learn more about wellness. So yes, it is an app for different training programs, and as you finish them, you'd move on to the next step, whether you were beginner and intermediate or advanced, which is great. But in addition, he was including a whole wellness information for everybody. So mainly, like to keep yourself healthy, not necessarily growing muscle, not necessarily being a bodybuilder, even though we know that growing muscle is what, it's optimal for everybody as we age. But he was mainly focusing on wellness in general. And so, again, not only am I into the training, the nutrition and fitness, but also health. And I'm also a nurse. And of course, I love anything and everything that has to do with health. And so that's kind of where that came in. So at that time, if you were a member, you got a yearly membership and became part of the membership, then you're able to attend the Arnold, I think it was in March, and do a meet and greet, which I did, and it was wonderful. So I got to meet people from the app that we've been communicating, either doing the same training, or people that had shared their stories, right? Whether it is weight loss or if it's health issues and how they improved their health going through these programs, and the information that Arnold had been sharing. He did have other people involved, and they had health and wellness books to share, and all this information if you were part of it. And so all these people, the ones that were the first to be members, were able to do a meet and greet. And so it was awesome. He's wonderful. His team is great. And I actually not only got to meet him, it was during the time that we also had the Angels Bikini fashion show. So I did the fashion show at the Arnold, and then I got to meet him. So I was trying to do both. They had their itinerary, and I had my itinerary with the fashion show, but it was a lot of fun. And again, that was another thing that I was part of this year. And this is where I was learning more about health and wellness in general. And then you also saw that I also got a membership with Brett Contreras. Now, Brett Contreras, most people know him as the glute guy, right? Glutes, for his training and growth, and mainly women for their glutes, right? And as you guys might know, if you followed me before for some time, you know that I went from bikini category to wellness. And so I knew that I had to focus on my lower body, and I wanted to know, what is it that I need to do different that, or that will be helpful for me to grow my lower body. Now, Brett Contreras is also another person that, if you don't know him, he is a very well-known, he researches and does all that. He was the for training for glute growth, but also the person that invented the hip thrust, right? And so again, these people come up and I meet, whether it is social media or at the fitness events that I've been, and I learn a little more about it, and I get super interested and I get super excited when it comes to learning more about what I enjoy. So when I became a member, I get a program that is focused on what I am trying to accomplish, right? And so again, because I moved or transitioned from the bikini to wellness category, I knew that I was trying to find an expert, right, in the lower body growth. And so why not reach out to the person that would be able to help me with that? And again, that is why I kind of got all these people involved, throughout the year. And then, of course, I shared with you last week, Holly Baxter was a member of the Team BioLane. Again, if you're not familiar with Holly, she is a pro competitor for different federations and recently an IFB pro, but she's also not only a coach, but a dietitian. And when it comes to nutrition, I wanted to know, what can I do? Because everybody wants, to know what we have to do to get better, right? Or at least I do. And so I am a natural bodybuilder, and I am always looking for ways to learn and improve. And I've said it before, there is always going to be something that we can learn from, and you can never stop learning, right? And so I get super excited about all this. And when Holly was working back in with Lane Norton with Team BioLane, her macro-friendly books, her competition prep book, like anything and everything that is backed up by science and all that they promoted, I've had and I've read. And that is because I want to make sure that I'm doing the optimal, right, that I can for the goals that I have. Now, I am in the master's category. I am 43. I think I'm 43 years old already. And so all these things that I go through, that I've gone through, it is it's personal. It's because I am very passionate about what I enjoy. And so I want to learn more about it. And so I have been with Paul from Pro Physique as my coach for, by prep coach. And I think this year in December 28th, because I was looking up, it'll be, see, 21, 22, 23, 24. I think it's 3 years, going on 4 years with Paul. And so it is recommended for you to stay with your same coach, to get to know your coach, for your coach to get to know you as well. And so I've been, before him, like I said, I had, his name was James. His name is James from Team BioLane with Lane Norton and Holly, that team. And before that, it was a cousin of mine. And so I had not had any previous teams and training or anything like that. And that is because, again, one, I wasn't involved in social media, and two, I just didn't have the knowledge that I have now. And so once I did, then I just kind of started, doing more and getting more interested in all of this. But back to getting your coach for, prep. And it depends, because I'm talking about show prep. I'm not talking about lifestyle. Not that it's any different as far as like getting a coach, because they prepare you, whether it is, for your fat loss, for your maintenance, for your reverse, for whatever it is that you're doing. But I'm talking about me and my prep. I feel that these are things that I need to know, and I mentioned this in the last video, not only for my personal knowledge, or because I coach, it is also because you want to make sure that you are being coached properly, right? If you know how many, in your macros, how many grams of carbs, calories, and proteins, and all these things, you know everything, then when you get your plans or your macros from your coach, you know exactly what they're trying to do. Now, your coach is one for accountability, and two, I've mentioned this before, there is such thing as prep goggles, right? Because you don't see yourself the same as somebody else. You can totally coach somebody and let them know exactly what they need, how they look, and be the best coach. But when it comes to you coaching yourself, a lot of the times we're harder on ourselves and think that we're doing less than what we are actually doing, or vice versa, right? And so it can affect your prep. And having somebody to tell you, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong, and even though you have that knowledge, is very, very helpful, so that at the end of your prep, you can end up with a really, really good prep and a good post-show as well. And not only physically, but mentally, because it does, it does affect a lot of people due to the drastic changes and the drastic things that you have to do if you want to be an athlete, right? Compete. Now, for me, all of this is an investment. I'm sure that, and I've had, like I said, people ask, but why all this if you have a coach, right? And again, yes, I do, but I want to make sure that I have that knowledge, that I know what's going on. Why am I being recommended to do an hour of cardio? Why am I being recommended to cut my calories or to add my calories? I can't understand why some people are okay with blindly just saying, okay, I'm eating that much. And which, again, I know you should trust your coach, but you should have some kind of knowledge about the whole prep so that you're being coached appropriately. When you pick your coach, it has to be somebody that you can relate to, and that at the very beginning when you start your coaching, that you let that person know what kind of coach you are looking for. Because I'm going to use me as an example. I like to get my plan, my changes, and then I will take care of it. You just tell me what I need to do. When do you need me to check in? How much do you need me to eat? What do I have to do? Boom, let's go, right? And then there's girls or women that like to be told what to do, and then to be, hey, you need to check in. Hey, you didn't send me your progress pictures. Hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. And coaching is not like that. They tell you, your coaches, we tell you what are the necessary changes for you to get better at whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. But coaches are not supposed to be like on you all day, every day, and checking on you. That's your job to do your thing. So when you all, and again, I use me as an example, when I'm looking for a coach, or when I met with my coach on, a call, and we talk about what the plans are, what we're doing, and this is what's going to be the plan for me moving forward. That's when you know, okay, I feel like this is not going to work out, or maybe I need a girl instead of a man to help me with this. Sometimes people are more comfortable for females or males, and that's okay too. But when you decide who your coach is, make sure you know who you're going to be working with, that it is a good fit for you, and that you understand what coaches do. That there's a limit, there's a line where you have to keep from your coach, and that's just because they're not your personal assistant. They're not there to hold your hand, even though some will be very supportive, make sure you're okay, make sure that if you need anything. And those are when the check-ins happen, right? You check in every week, and you communicate what's going on so that they can help you if needed. But make sure that when you do decide to get a coach, that it's not only somebody that is fits your goals, but that has the knowledge to help you, to coach you. Ask questions. I know that coaching is an investment. It's expensive. All these things that I've learned throughout the year, and that is because I choose to invest in education, to educate myself, to make sure that I know all these things, and again, that I'm getting coached properly. So again, I wanted to share with you because it's brought up before, and asking, what's the deal with, the different programs and things like that. So I try to break it down, and these are the people that I've worked throughout the year. And again, I love it. This is what I'm passionate about at the moment. And so, why not get to learn more about the things that I'm passionate about? But next week, like I said, my update is going to be hopefully Christmas, and how I manage my diet and family and all the fun stuff. So I will try to share as much as I can. I hope that this was helpful. I appreciate everybody for following my journey, and thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.